Hello there, and welcome to another Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. In today's episode, we're talking lightsabers. Stay tuned.
Now you too.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So in this special episode we're going to be looking at a couple of our lightsabers and also some other lightsabers in my collection. Now for Christmas I got this Star Wars Black Series Force FX saber, which is Rey Skywalker's, Rey Palpatine you mean, her lightsaber, and this is part of Star Wars The Black Series and is made by Hasbro. Now they took over the license from a company called Master Replicas, who were the first to actually make these Force FX lightsabers, but more on that later. And we're also going to be looking at one of our purchases from our Orlando holiday when we went to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and this is the Leia Organa saber, which is part of Disney's Legacy collection, which you can only get either from Duck Ondars, which is the shop in Galaxy's Edge that sells the lightsabers in this lovely case, by the way. But they also do sell the occasional ones on the Disney Store website. I think currently they have Anakin, Luke's, Darth Vader's and Mace Windu's currently up for sale on there, and they usually retail for around about £185. So without further ado, let's have a look at the first lightsabers from Master Replicas. So here we have the two lightsabers in my collection that are Master Replicas. Now, Master Replicas was a company that was formed in the early 2000s, and in 2003 they got the license from Lucasfilm to make these FX sabers, which were movie replica hilts, which were as accurate as they could be to the actual props, and then obviously with the Force FX blades, which would give you that distinctive Star Wars ignition blade, and then the sounds from the movies, as well as obviously it going back in. Now the first one that they did was Anakin Skywalker's from Attack of the Clones, which obviously isn't identical to the one that Luke eventually inherits. It does look a bit similar, but it is not identical. And that one actually had a bit of a larger hilt because the technology wasn't there. And rather than the actual authentic ignition sequence of the lightsaber going up and then down when you switch it on and off, it kind of like just flashed. So it did have a larger kind of like hilt, still obviously accurate to the movie prop, but the technology for the LEDs wasn't quite there yet, and it was only with subsequent versions that they then were able to do the proper ignition where it goes up and down when you switch it on and off. So that's Obi-Wan's from episode 3. Now, as I said, I did have the Anakin Skywalker episode 2 version. I eventually sold that on eBay, made quite a bit of money on it because obviously it was a first edition, and some collectors wanted it even though it wasn't quite as good as the later offerings. And this was bought in around about 2005 It was released around the time of Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3 coming out. My other saber, which we have here, is Darth Vader's. So, as you can see, authentic to the prop from Episode 4 and Episode 5 and Episode 6. Now, the only problem with this is because they've used rubber here, which is authentic to the actual prop, over time this rubber has aged and got very, very tacky, unfortunately. So I am considering getting the Disney Legacy version, which is obviously does come with a retractable, detachable blade, which obviously we'll go into more detail about those further on in the video. But there you go. So there's the, and you can see that. We'll give a full demonstration of the sabers with my little helper, my son Zach, in between these little reviews. And there's the stand, a lovely stand that they came on. Now, I did have 3 other of these sabers. So after I got rid of Anakin's, and obviously I was purchasing these 2, and at the time these were around about £100, and I think at one time they were even as low as £60 when Borders, if you remember Borders, the bookstore, went under. For some reason they were selling these, and yeah, they were selling them obviously when they went under and they were clearing their stock. So I was able to get Luke Skywalker's from Return of the Jedi, which obviously had the green blade. Mace Windu's from Episode 2, Episode 3, which obviously had the purple blade. And then I got Anakin / Luke's saber. That obviously is the one that Obi-Wan hands to Luke in the original Star Wars movie. Now, I don't have those anymore in my collection because I stupidly, a couple of years ago, came to the decision that perhaps 5 lightsabers with only 2 on display was a bit too much. So I sold the other 3, and because at that point Master Replicas had lost the license to Hasbro, they did go for a nice amount of money on eBay. But I kind of regretted it ever since. But my loving partner, she about 5 years ago surprised me with another saber for Christmas. And here is that present from Christmas 2018. Yes, it is Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. Now, this is made by Hasbro. It's part of the Star Wars Black Series. And they'd obtained the license from Master Replicas in 2015. Master Replicas lost the license. And their first saber to launch their new Force FX range of sabers under the banner of the Black Series was actually Kylo Ren's, to tie in with the release of The Force Awakens in that Christmas of 2015. So these are more or less identical to the Master Replica versions. You know, there was that kind of worry when it was announced that Hasbro were taking over the license, that, you know, they go a bit more plasticky, a bit more toy-like, not as movie accurate, but nothing could be further from the truth. These are as good as the Master Replica versions. Now, obviously, I'll just switch this on here. So again, it has that LED technology, and then you've got the motion sensor and the speaker in the bottom. And the technology had moved on to the point where instead of having 6 AAA batteries, they actually only needed 3 AAA batteries, which come in a compartment that inserts into there. Now, at the time that I got this, I'd seen that Hasbro was starting to do detachable blades, and I was very, very excited, and thought, oh wow, this is this is great, it's going to be a detachable blade version. But unfortunately, this is one of the last ones that Hasbro did without the detachable blade, and I'll show you, obviously, the latest two that do have that detachable blade function. But, you know, I'm absolutely chuffed at this. This is absolutely brilliant. I don't know how much it retailed for, because as I said, it was a Christmas present, but Hasbro's Black Series sabers do tend to go for around about £200 to £300, depending on what they are. So I really don't want to know how much you paid for it at the time. And obviously, as it was a Christmas present, you don't really ask. So there you have it, Luke Skywalker's Force FX lightsaber from Return of the Jedi, part Star Wars The Black Series, made by Hasbro. And just to demonstrate, obviously, how the batteries are inserted. Now, this is the case of all standard ones now. So you have this section here, and obviously you can see the speaker there. That's where the sounds are emitted. There's a motion sensor in the hilt, so when you do move the blade around, it does the whole lightsaber sound effects and swishy things. And obviously, if it comes into contact with something, it'll then do the same movie accurate sound. So most versions of the lightsaber will have a screw bottom, and then you have a section here, and this is obviously just where you put the batteries. So as you can see, these actually now fit AAAs, not AAs. I think the Master Replica ones that are there, Darth Vader's. There he is, that's Darth Vader's. Obi-Wan's up there. They fit AAs. So, yes, so your AAA batteries go in there. That then slots into there like that. And then you just secure that again by putting that on. Now, obviously, the Hasbro lightsabers do come with a stand as well, but the stand is in storage with the rest of the packaging. There you go. And now here's a demonstration of this lightsaber. So that's one of the Hasbro Black Series sabers, and now this brings us now round to Disney's own version. Now, when Disney opened up their Star Wars Galaxy's Edge theme park, which is open in the California Disneyland, and also Walt Disney World in Orlando, they started to obviously introduce lots of merchandise that you can buy at Galaxy's Edge. And one of these was what they called Legacy Lightsabers. Now, these are virtually identical to what Hasbro produced and what Master Replicas used to produce. Obviously, I don't presume the technology isn't trademarked or anything, or there's some subtle tweaks that they do to get around that, or Lucasfilm just let any older person produce them. But yeah, so you can go into a shop called Doc Ondar's Den of Iniquities, and I'll show you some footage of Doc Ondar's from our visit to Walt Disney World from last August, which was absolutely amazing. The Galaxy's Edge at Disney Hollywood Studios, which is one of the main 4 theme parks that you get at Walt Disney World, where Galaxy's Edge is based, is really, really good, and it's something to behold as a Star Wars fan. When you walk around that corner and you see the life-size Millennium Falcon, it's an awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping moment. But near there, obviously, there's lots of merchandise stands and stuff, and lots of other props, replicas. You've got full-size X-Wings, you've got A-Wings, you've got droids, you've got land speeders. You know, it does feel immersive, as if you're in the world of Star Wars and stuff. And the one thing that they are missing is, obviously, occasionally you do get characters walking around. And at the moment, it just tends to be Rey and Chewbacca, because Galaxy's Edge is kind of like tied into the sequel trilogy. However, at the California Galaxy's Edge, they have started introducing the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Shannon Fenn. So hopefully we can start to see more other characters from other aspects of Star Wars' timeline in Walt Disney World's version. But yes, this is what they come in. So you buy your Legacy lightsaber and it comes in this very wonderful commemorative box, and then depending on obviously who you buy will depend on the symbol that you get, and then obviously you click open here, and as you can see you get this, which here we have Leia's lightsaber, which is just well, the sheer weight of it is magnificent. Now you're going, well, hold on, where's the blade? Well, yes, $200 will get you the hilt with the commemorative box, but it does come with some other appendages which are under here. Just lift that up. So you do get another section. Now, because of the technology and because of obviously how the blades are, the blade would not fit in the movie accurate version, and you'll probably notice that this is kind of like another variation on that Obi-Wan design that Luke's saber from Return of the Jedi was also based on, and it had obviously this little section here. Now you'll see, I'll just show you there, obviously because of the limitations of the blade, and it does have to fit in somewhere, that is thicker on that when the blade is in. So Disney, when they're producing their Legacy versions, have given you a different section, so for you to change. So you just unscrew this here. Okay, and then you put the new version on. And then that enables you to then put the detachable blade in. Now, you don't have to buy the detachable blades because they are sold separately. Disney not missing a trick to make money out of holiday goers. You can just have the hilt, and the hilts are lovely. They're proper solid metal, movie accurate, resplendent in the colours, and they had a wide selection of Legacy lightsabers, and they do retire them from time to time. So eventually they become like collector's items effectively. So we'll just put that to one side there. Now the blade comes in 3 sizes, and you can get a 29 inch, a 31 inch and a 35 inch blade, depending on what you get. Now, we obviously got a blade, and we got the 31 inch because that was the nearest in length to the other sabers in my collection. And I'm just going to get the blade for you. And we also bought it in this nice little carry-all kind of like case here that you can hang on your shoulder, a lightsaber sheath, because obviously we had to get it back through, you know, our plane ride home. So here's the blade, and it's very similar to obviously the battery compartment and the way it like clicks in. So that's this section here, which is going to go into here, but obviously then you've got the blade there, obviously with its tip, and they're virtually the same length as the other sabers produced by Master Replicas and Hasbro.
This is if you want to look at them first. You can hold it in your too. It usually is This is a list of the ones we have available. We do not have any
Okay, so there's a little section here that you would pop out, and then you can then put the blade in and it will slot in, and then once you click it into place, and once you've heard that sound, then you know that it's connected, and then it's a case of, there you go, you switch it on and the button is there. Now it's not apparent because you don't really see Leia's saber much in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. You see it in that flashback scene, and it's not really apparent that it's actually got a bit of a different sound to it. But there you go. So again, it has the function, the LEDs that go up and down to give you the igniting effect of the blade. But that's obviously how they get around the technology with putting the blade in. Like I said, that blade would not be able to go down with it standing there. So it's good that they give you that alternative if you want to choose the blade. Now, all in together with obviously the saber, the blades retail for around about $30. And then obviously you've got the carry case for the blade, which is what we got here, which is quite lengthy. So all three sizes of the blades will go in there. That came to roughly around about $250, excuse me, with tax, because obviously there's a sales tax in Florida. So roughly around about the same price as a Star Wars Black Series one from Hasbro. Now, obviously with the current rate of exchange, the ones that they are selling currently on the Disney Store website in the UK are £185. Now, the rate of exchange isn't that good at the moment. So the ones that are being sold on the UK website actually work out a lot cheaper than you buying them over there at the theme parks. But like I said, they've only got 3 of the sabers for sale. The other sabers are all exclusive to Doglanders. But there you go. There you have Princess Leia's lightsaber from Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Which brings us to the final lightsaber that we're looking at today. And this is the latest one in my collection. Like I said, the Princess Leia saber is my partner's. She bought it with her money because she really liked it. So that's going to probably stay in her area. So this is Rey Skywalker's, Rey Palpatine's, Force FX Elite lightsaber. And this is obviously Star Wars, the Black Series. So this is a Hasbro version. Now, it does come with various effects, as does the Princess Leia Disney Legacy one as well. But this is a quick look at the packaging. So there you go. Combining advanced LEDs and amplified sound technology, the Force FX Elite lightsabers is the most authentic Force FX lightsaber yet. Battle crash effect, progressive ignition, advanced LEDs, blaster deflect effect, illuminated metal hilt, and finally a very, very nice metallic stand that it comes with, which you can see there. And obviously gives you details of the detachable blade. But let's have a closer look at this lightsaber. Now, the first thing I should mention about this is just the sheer weight of this saber. This is the heaviest out of all of the 5 that we have here. You know, I thought the other ones were kind of accurate, but this is just, you just hear that, that is just absolutely amazing. And the sheer detail on it is just, again, amazing. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is because it does have obviously these kind of like bandages, which is accurate to the prop, but it's already fraying at a ridiculous amount, and virtually, I mean, I've hardly kind of like had it taken out of the packaging, and obviously removed it shortly after, because this was a Christmas present, and an absolute bargain, an absolute steal. Sports Direct, of all places, were selling these for £100 on their website, when they should actually be 300 quid. So I quickly sent the other half a link one day whilst I was working, because I discovered it on a Black Series Facebook group that I'm on, and kind of said, have you seen this bargain? Have you stuck for what to buy me for Christmas? Hint, hint. But yeah, and I don't know why Sports Direct was selling them, but they have recently acquired the game stores, so perhaps they're just doing some cross affiliation, and perhaps like this was actually meant to be game stock, but it got listed on Sports Direct instead. So lovely detail there. You've got obviously these now these do peel back, obviously, because you then have to fit the blade in, and I'll show you obviously how you do that. But I love that lovely burnt effect that they've got there, which kind of like, obviously, because they get close to the blade. But there you go. It is, as much as I don't like Rise of Skywalker, as much as I'm not a huge fan of the sequel trilogy, I've got to say this saber is probably the favourite out of all the ones in the collection so far, just because of just how good it looks. And yeah, and I'll show you obviously what colour it is. It's yellow, and there's a little kind of like nostalgia to that, because the very first toy lightsabers that Kenner produced way back in 1978 actually had a yellow blade with them, so it's almost as if the lightsabers have come full circle with them now having yellow blades. But let's show you how to attach the blade. Okay, so we've got the blade here. Now, as you can see, it's a different mechanism, so you can't use the Disney Legacy blades with the Hasbro sabers, and you can't use the Hasbro blades with the Legacy hilts, you know, but, you know, that's obviously how they get you. So, you take this top panel here, you unscrew it off like that. And then what you need to do is you need to take the blade and you need to thread that through there all the way down, and then you need to obviously put that in there. It will click in, and then you screw that in place there. And then this has a very, very cool effect, which I will demonstrate. I hope it does appear on screen. If not, I will switch the light off. Now, did you see that? Just as it does in the film, this little emitter here flashes blue and green before it chooses the yellow colour, just as it does, almost as if the saber is deciding what colour to pick from the kyber crystal that's implanted in it. just do that again. I think that's a really, really little cool feature, and so accurate to obviously how it appeared in the movie. That's just amazing. There you go. This is my favourite, probably saber, and just the sheer weight of it is just absolutely marvellous. And it was an absolute steal. If you can pick it up for the ridiculous price of 100 quid, or you can see it in a sale somewhere, then certainly add it, even if you're not a fan of the sequel trilogy films. So let's have another quick demonstration of it in action. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and that review of lightsabers, and you did. Please leave us a like, it really does help out the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload a brand new video. In the meantime, stay tuned to Bearded Geek Toy Reviews, and may the Force be with you. Take care.